stories that matter to you. This is Fox 6 News at 6.
The process here stinks.
Now at 6, controversy over who should lead Milwaukee's housing authority, why some residents feel slighted in the decision.
And she's supposed to cut hair, but police say a Waukesha County stylist was cutting more than that on the job. The bizarre reason she gave to police.
New video shows a Waukesha County stylist pretending to ring up a client, then pocketing the cash.
Prosecutors say she did this for months and stole thousands from a salon. Our Durante Matthews shows us how she got clipped.
It might look like a normal transaction, but look closely. Security video shows this stylist taking the client's money, fidgeting with the register, but the cash never goes in. You can see it goes right into her pocket instead. Prosecutors say the woman is 25-year-old Jada Ovali. Court records say she's worked at this cost-cutter salon in Menominee Falls since 2022. Documents show she was hourly, making $13 an hour, paid bi-weekly, and allowed to accept tips. But at some point, investigators say Ovali started to skim a little off the top. Prosecutors say records going back to last July show she canceled hundreds of cash transactions and then pocketed the money, walking away with more than $5,000. Prosecutors say this went on for months, and it only came to an end earlier this month after a customer came into the salon to return an item that they had purchased with cash, but there was no record of that transaction. After discovering the theft, the owners called police. Officers arrested Ovali, who later confessed to theft. Documents say she told police she stole money to pay bills after having brain surgery last year. Court records show she signed a confession and said she would do what she needed to do to repay the business. Durante Matthews, Fox 6 News.
Cost cutters tell us they have no comment on this story. Ovali is currently charged with theft. She's out of custody right now and is expected to be back in court next month.
New tonight, the Washington County Sheriff's Office releasing the mugshot of a Whitefish Bay School District administrator charged in a fatal crash. Rebecca Solomon is an associate principal at Cumberland Elementary, but she's on leave. She's charged with homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. Solomon is accused of hitting and killing another driver after a crash in West Bend in December. Whitefish Bay's school superintendent says the district is investigating the matter.
Well, it's your tax money that funds Milwaukee's housing authority. It's had recent controversies over finances and leadership. Now, Jason Calvi is here to tell us about the latest problem, Jason.
Hey, Ben, this latest fight, it's all over who sits on the Housing Authority board. This board has great power. They set policy, they set the budget, they can hire and fire the executive director of the Housing Authority. So there was recently an open position. Right now, there still is an open position for this for the board, a group called Common Council. They've been raising issues with HACM for finances, leadership, living conditions. And recently, they and some tenants recommended a list of 4 people for that open board spot. It's one of the 2 spots reserved for a person living in HACM housing. All of Common Ground's suggestions lived in large buildings like these for low-income seniors and people with disabilities. The mayor did not pick from Common Ground's list.
The process here stinks. The process where residents weren't consulted, Common Ground wasn't consulted, some other sources weren't consulted.
They did not acknowledge the fact that one of the people that I appointed to the Housing Authority Board actually did come off their list.
And that person the mayor is talking about is Jackie Burrell. She filled the position last year. The Common Council did confirm her in that position last year, and that person was recommended by Common Ground. For Ramos, the newest appointee, the newest pick for the mayor, she will have to go in front of the Common Council to answer questions, and then they have the power to confirm her in that spot on the HACM board. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Jason Calvi, Fox 6 News.
With rising grocery prices, many are feeling the strain and turning to local food banks for help. The Falls Area Food Pantry in Menominee Falls says that they have seen a rise in the demand from people, especially with dairy items like milk, butter, and of course eggs. The pantry says that it has been feeling the effects of inflation that has forced them to set some limits on what they can give people.
But what's becoming an issue for us now is it looks like in order to meet demand, we may have to give a little less in terms of what we're giving in terms of food. And that really hurts us to the core because that's our basic mission.
We also reached out to other food pantries in the area. They say it's not only food, but items like diapers and toiletries have been challenging during this time.
The Attorney General was in Kenosha today talking about school safety.
Christina Van Zelst is here with why this hits close to home for Kenosha Unified School District.
Yeah, KUSD says the statewide efforts prevented a potential tragedy after 2 gun scares happened back to back. In November, prosecutors say a teen brought an airsoft gun, which looked like a real firearm, to Roosevelt Elementary. That 13-year-old was arrested after an hours-long search in the community. Then in December, a school resource officer was notified about a social media post of a student with a gun at Indian Trail High School. Police found a small 5-inch gun hidden in his groin area and arrested that 16-year-old student. Kenosha Unified Superintendent Jeffrey Weiss says the district is prepared to respond to these types of incidents thanks to the state's Department of Justice Office of School Safety. The OSS provides support and guidance to schools.
We've experienced some very traumatic events here in Wisconsin, and we'd like to make it known that it is a priority.
Having an office out of Madison at the school the next morning to meet with staff was huge.
Weiss says the district relies on the office's school threat reporting system known as Speak Up, Speak Out. If you need access to that tool, we do have that linked online. Just head to the Fox local app. Ben, back to you.
All right, thanks, Christina. Appreciate it. Well, the focus of the football world is in Indianapolis right now in the NFL Scouting Combine.
Big deal. And when it's over, all the attention then turns to Green Bay for the NFL Draft. Tam Van Moren is live in Indianapolis at the Combine, where the draft is a big topic.
Oh, it certainly is, Kim and Ben. It would be any year, but of course, with those of us with the local ties this year, asking almost anybody, what do you think of the draft? What's it going to be like, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the first real step getting toward that process. This kind of kicks off the 2025 season to begin with. And then, of course, 2 months from now, it is the draft. You've got free agency starting in there. So a lot to change in the NFL coming up in the next several weeks. And, of course, that draft looms out there in late April.
I think our scouts were talking about sleeping at the office, which I was like, absolutely not, because that's not something we're going to have at 3 o'clock in the morning running around our building. But no, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be really exciting. The energy should be off the charts. And again, I think it's a special thing for Green Bay, the Packers, and just proud of our organization that they're able to pull it off.
Brian Gutekunst has been in football his entire adult life. I asked him, how many times have you been to the draft, Brian? He's never been. He's always been in the draft room back at the team headquarters, so he's never been to the NFL draft. He's quick to point out he won't really be at this one either, Ben and Kim, because he's going to be working the whole time in the barracks.
So close. All right, thanks, TVV. Well, some travelers are on edge after back-to-back plane crashes.
But transportation experts say flying remains the safest form of travel. The tips that might ease passengers' fears right before takeoff.
And we had another warm day across the area today, but a cool down is on the way, and we have some rain in the forecast. I'll time it all out for you coming up.